Hey everybody! Today's topic is foods that affect your voice, either in a bad way or in a good way. I'll start off with the bad news, and we can cover the ones that you should avoid before performance. Not necessarily every day. You don't have to avoid these foods, every single time you eat. But certainly on the days you're going to be singing a lot or performing, you'll definitely want to avoid these. And they're kind of grouped into three categories based on their effect on the voice. So the first category we're going to cover is ones you should avoid because they cause kind of an excess amount of mucus to build up in your throat. So the first one, the big one, is a whole category of food: dairy, milk, yogurt, ice cream, all that kind of stuff, cheese even, because that causes, like I said, a lot of excess mucus in your throat. And when you're trying to sing, if you have a lot of mucus, obviously it's going to be hard to get a clear tone. It's going to get kind of a nasally sort of sound. And definitely, mucus is something we want to avoid when we're singing. Another one, too, is cinnamon. That can cause mucus. But, I mean, of course, these foods, like I said, you can always have other times, just not before singing. So that's good. So those are the mucus-causing foods. Then the next one is ones you should avoid because they cause indigestion in your stomach. And I know that kind of sounds like not a big deal, but if you consider indigestion is when the acid from your stomach goes beyond that sphincter muscle at the top of your stomach. It goes beyond there, up and through your esophagus, and if it's potentially bad, it can come up and end up burning your vocal cords. If you haven't experienced this before, you're very lucky. It's pretty horrible, and definitely anytime your vocal cords are burned, it's definitely not a good thing. So definitely avoid anything that's spicy. So Indian food, curry, all that stuff, Mexican food. Even on your own, like if you add too much, pepper and other sort of spices, hot sauce and stuff, that can cause indigestion, which would come up, build up into your throat and burn your vocal cords. Another one too is foods that are high in fat. So you're hitting the McDonald's and Burger King. A lot of foods. I'm not talking about fat stuff like peanut butter is okay. Nuts, seeds, olive oil. Those are okay kind of fats. I think we actually talked about that in another video. But it's the fats that are like, the really bad animal fats. If you're eating like corned beef or something, a lot of fat in there. Anything like French fries, chips, saturated fats, big fats like that are the ones that you want to avoid because that's going to cause indigestion. Again, acid coming into your throat. Then the third category of foods to avoid is because they have a really bad drying effect on your vocal cords. First big one of this is salt. And this is actually I'm going to talk about this in foods that are good too, because a little bit of salt might be good if you're doing a gargle or something, but salt on its own is very drying, and I'm not talking about just plain like salt shaker salt. I mean, salt in any food. Like I already mentioned, chips and French fries. You avoid those for another reason, but they're also very salty. A lot of meats sometimes, like fish, can have a lot of salt in them. So you just want to consider what you're eating and how much salt content's already in there naturally without you adding any more from the salt shaker. Another one is alcohol. That has a drying effect on your throat. And I mean, obviously, if you want to be at your top game to the best of your abilities, you don't want to consume alcohol before performance anyway. And also, too much alcohol can definitely lead to indigestion and worse stuff and damaging your vocal cords. And then the third one that dries is caffeine. I know some people say that it's great to have coffee before performance, I guess because it's warm. But if I were them, I would more recommend like hot water or something because the caffeine has a really bad drying effect. So unless you counteract it with a lot of water, you're not going to want to have a lot of caffeine drying out your vocal cords. So now we're moving on to the good news, the things that are good for your voice that you should always do before performance. The biggest one, of course, is water. I know you hear everyone talk about this, but definitely you can't stress it. And a lot of people try to consider, when they eat fruits and vegetables and stuff, there's a lot of water content. That's true, but definitely you want to still drink pure water, just out of a water bottle. What I find works for me is the bigger the container of water, the more likely I am to drink it and finish it. So if you can carry around, like a gallon jug with you and just finish it, basically you can never really have too much water. I mean, to a point, yes, but within reason, definitely you can always have enough water. Honey is another good one. A lot of people swear by it. I know some people squirt it right down their throat. I mean, definitely all these things are within moderation. So you don't want to chug honey always going to help your voice. But that does have a really good effect on your throat. Another thing is, I guess citrus fruits are good for you, like a little bit of lemon. But once again, don't overdo it because the acid in the citrus might not be good for your vocal cords if you have too much of it. But I hear like a lemon gargle might be good. And then I know Lud always told me about my voice teacher Lud always told me about a thing called Gould's Gargle, which is warm water, salt, baking soda, and corn syrup. And I guess together this works as kind of a coating layer on your throat to like protect it. So those things on their own and together will help out. But like I said, with salt, you don't want to have too much salt. Just a little bit's good. I know even in your mouth you have a canker sore that's good for your mouth, but you don't want to overdo it because then you're going to have a drying effect. So remember, just as a recap of everything, the foods you want to avoid are ones that cause excess mucus, dairy, and cinnamon. Ones that cause indigestion, spicy foods, and the foods that are high in fat. And then you want to also avoid the ones that are drying, which are salt, caffeine, alcohol. And then the good foods, we have water and honey. And then you have the mixture that I talked about, baking soda, corn syrup, and salt with some warm water. And then citrus is good in moderation. Definitely all these are kind of in moderation. If you have any others that you find have worked for you in the past that you want to share, definitely you can post comments or anything and offer your advice and experiences with different foods. So until next week, have a good one.